Good morning. I want you to take a moment and really listen, because what I'm about to share could change the trajectory of your life if you actually apply it. There are 9 things you need to tell yourself every single day. Not just think about, not just wish for, but actually say with conviction. And the reason this works is because your mind responds to what you consistently feed it. If you keep feeding it fear, doubt, and limitation, you're going to get more fear, doubt, and limitation. But if you feed it truth, power, and possibility, your results will begin to shift. So let's get into it. When it comes to achieving success, the very first thing you have to do is recognize that you are worthy of it. Not someday, not after you've proven yourself to the world, not after some magical combination of luck and timing aligns perfectly. You are worthy right now. And here's the hard truth most people never grasp. Your level of success will always be limited by how much you believe you deserve it. You can have all the skills, knowledge, and opportunities in the world, but if deep down you feel unworthy, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself. That's why this is the first thing you must tell yourself every single day. I am worthy of success. Say it, feel it, and live it. Watch how it changes the way you move in the world. Think about it for a second. How often do you hold back? Not because of lack of talent, but because of fear that you don't deserve more. How often do you settle for less, quietly telling yourself that someone else is more capable, more prepared, more deserving than you are? That voice inside your head, the one whispering doubts, is not a truth teller. It's a liar designed to keep you small. Every time you affirm your worth, you are silencing that voice and rewiring your mind for success. Here's a secret. People who consistently achieve big results are not inherently smarter or luckier. They simply believe they are deserving of the opportunities that come their way, and that belief drives relentless action. Let me make this real for you. Imagine you walk into a room filled with opportunities, business deals, new relationships, invitations to grow. If deep down you feel unworthy, you will unconsciously shrink. You'll hesitate, overthink, or talk yourself out of possibilities. But when you tell yourself, I am worthy of success, you walk into that room with confidence. Your energy shifts. People notice. Doors start opening. Opportunities you never expected begin to appear. The world responds to self-belief because energy is contagious. When you believe in your worth, the universe reflects that back in the form of results. Here's the next level most people miss. Worthiness is not just about what you say. It's about what you do. When you believe you are worthy, your decisions change. You stop tolerating mediocrity. You stop accepting toxic situations or low-paying opportunities that don't align with your value. You start asking for what you deserve, negotiating with confidence, and positioning yourself where growth is inevitable. Worthiness drives behavior, and behavior drives results. Every wealthy, influential, and fulfilled person you admire has one thing in common. They operate from a place of self-worth. They don't wait for permission. They don't let fear dictate their actions. They understand that their value is not determined by outside circumstances. It is inherent, undeniable, and non-negotiable. Now, let's make it practical. Every morning, look in the mirror and say it loud. I am worthy of success. I am deserving of every good thing coming my way. I am capable, I am prepared, and I am ready to receive. Say it with emotion, because emotion is the fuel that convinces your subconscious mind this is reality. Then act accordingly. Make choices that reflect your worth. Take bold steps that others would avoid. The combination of belief and action is unstoppable. Your thoughts shape your identity shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you start here, everything else falls into place. The people who tell themselves daily that they are worthy don't just survive, they thrive. They move with purpose, attract the right resources, and create lives that others only dream about. You are no different. The only barrier between you and the life you want is the belief in your own worth. Say it. Feel it. Live it. Start today and watch doors open that you didn't even know existed. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is taking full responsibility for everything that happens to you. And I mean everything, not just the wins, but the losses, the setbacks, the unexpected twists. Most people spend their lives blaming circumstances, other people, the economy, or some mysterious bad luck for why they haven't reached their potential. But the truth is, nothing outside of you has the power to define your life unless you give it permission. When you say to yourself every day, I am responsible for my life and my results, you are reclaiming your power, and once you reclaim that power, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you something most people never realize. The moment you stop blaming others is the exact moment you start creating real change. If you wait for someone else to fix your problems, you'll be waiting forever. If you depend on luck or external validation, you will remain powerless. True freedom and success come when you look in the mirror and say, whatever happens to me, I accept it, I own it, and I will respond with action. This is not about being hard on yourself or living in guilt. It's about understanding that you are the driver of your own destiny. Think about the difference between someone who blames and someone who takes responsibility. The blamer is a victim of circumstance. They react, they complain, and they wait for life to hand them what they want. The responsible person is a creator. They assess the situation, learn from it, adjust their strategy, and take decisive action. This mindset doesn't just shift outcomes, it transforms your entire approach to life. Every obstacle becomes a lesson, every challenge becomes a stepping stone, and every setback becomes fuel for your growth. Here's a key hook. When you take responsibility, you eliminate excuses. And when excuses disappear, results appear. Most people fail not because they lack talent, resources, or opportunity, but because they refuse to take ownership. They say, if only this, if only that. But the truth is, if only never changes anything. Ownership is the antidote to stagnation. You own your habits, your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, and your results. Once you internalize this, you start to notice something remarkable. The more responsibility you take, the more control you gain, and the more your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Now let's put it into action. Start your day with a simple affirmation: I am responsible for my life and my results. No one else, only me. Let this guide your decisions. When something goes wrong, instead of pointing fingers, ask yourself, what can I do to fix this? What can I learn? How can I turn this into an advantage? This is the mindset of winners. This is the mindset that turns average people into extraordinary leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a superpower. It is the difference between waiting for opportunities and creating them, between being reactive and being proactive, between living on autopilot and designing your life deliberately. Every successful person you admire didn't achieve greatness because of luck. They achieved it because they took responsibility for their choices, their mindset, and their actions. They refused to let external circumstances dictate their outcome. They understood that life doesn't happen to them. It happens for them when they step up and own it fully. When you commit to this daily, you stop playing small. You stop giving away your power. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start driving with authority and vision. Responsibility is the gateway to freedom, wealth, influence, and fulfillment. Own it, breathe it, live it, and watch as your results begin to match your potential. One of the most powerful truths that successful people understand is that nothing in life is fixed except their commitment to learn and grow. You see, the world doesn't reward those who sit on the sidelines waiting for opportunity to knock. It rewards the ones who are willing to learn what they don't know, who are willing to stretch themselves beyond their comfort zone, and who take the initiative to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary to achieve their goals. Every day you have a choice. You can remain where you are because you think you already know enough, or you can commit to learning and expanding yourself. And in that commitment lies the key to your success. Say it every day: I can learn anything I need to know to succeed. Not maybe, not if it's convenient, but with certainty. Here's the first hook. The moment you adopt this mindset, the limitations you thought existed start to disappear. Most people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they believe they are limited by what they currently know. They look at the mountain in front of them and say, I can't climb that because I don't have the skills. But the truth is, every skill can be learned, every obstacle can be overcome, and every goal can be reached if you commit to learning. Knowledge is not magic, it is a tool. And when you decide to master the tools you need, you gain power over your circumstances. Learning is not just about reading books or taking courses. It's about understanding the world, observing patterns, asking questions, seeking mentors, and applying what you discover. It's about turning information into action. Here's the second hook. Most people gather information, but never apply it, and that's why they remain stuck. The person who succeeds is not necessarily the one with the most knowledge, but the one who acts on the knowledge they acquire consistently. Every lesson you learn, every skill you develop, and every piece of wisdom you gain compounds over time, creating exponential results. Now, think about the opportunities you've missed simply because you didn't know enough or felt unprepared. What if, instead of feeling limited, you had said, I will learn what I need to know? What if you treated every challenge as an invitation to grow rather than a barrier? That shift in thinking is what separates the dreamers from the doers. When you tell yourself daily that you can learn anything necessary for success, you remove fear and hesitation from your path. You begin to see challenges as invitations rather than threats. And doors that once seemed closed start opening because you have equipped yourself to walk through them. Here's the next powerful point: the market, the economy, the competition, they all favor those who learn faster and apply faster. Skills are currency. The more you know, the more you can create, contribute, and command. The more adaptable you are, the more opportunities you can seize. Your ability to learn is directly proportional to your ability to earn and influence. Say it again: I can learn anything I need to know to succeed, and then take action. Seek mentors, study the best, test, fail, adjust, and keep moving forward. Every day you invest in your growth, you are compounding your value and increasing the life you can create for yourself. Finally, the mindset of learnability creates confidence. When you know you can acquire what's needed, fear diminishes, hesitation disappears, and boldness emerges. You start taking risks that others avoid because you know that even if you stumble, you have the ability to learn, adjust, and grow stronger. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. This is how potential turns into reality. Every great entrepreneur, leader, and visionary embraced this principle. They understood that learning is the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. Consistency is the secret weapon that separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. You can have talent, knowledge, and even opportunity, but if you do not take consistent action, nothing will ever change. Every breakthrough, every level of growth, every meaningful achievement is the result of repeated steps taken over time. Saying to yourself, I am committed to consistent action, is not just an affirmation. It is a declaration that you will no longer rely on motivation alone, because motivation is fleeting. Discipline and consistency create momentum, and momentum compounds into results that can transform your life. Here's a powerful hook. The world doesn't reward occasional effort. It rewards persistent effort. Imagine planting a seed and watering it only once in a while. You wouldn't expect a tree to grow overnight. Yet many people approach success like this. They show up occasionally, half-heartedly, hoping for miracles. The reality is that small, deliberate, daily actions, repeated without fail, are what build empires. Every action you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. When you commit to consistent action, you are essentially saying that no obstacle, no distraction, and no setback will keep you from moving forward. Consistency also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you reinforce the belief that you can be relied upon, that you are capable, and that you are serious about your goals. That belief becomes the foundation of confidence. The more you prove to yourself that you can take action every day, the more unstoppable you become. Here's another hook. Action beats intention every time. You can plan, strategize, and dream endlessly, but without consistent execution, your goals remain fantasies. The act of doing every day is what transforms ideas into results. Let's talk about setbacks for a moment. Life will throw challenges at you, unexpected problems, failures, and delays, but commitment to consistent action ensures you don't quit. Every obstacle becomes a signal to adjust your approach, not a reason to stop. Winners don't wait for the perfect circumstances. They take action, refine their strategy, and persist. The habit of consistency is what keeps you moving forward, even when everything seems stacked against you. Say it with conviction. I am committed to consistent action, and then follow through even when it's hard, even when you feel tired, and even when the results aren't immediately visible. Here's a critical point most people miss. Consistency compounds. It's not about the single heroic effort. It's about showing up every day. Small steps accumulate over time into massive results. The actions you take today might seem insignificant, but 5 years from now, they will define the trajectory of your life. The principle is simple. Repetition creates mastery. Mastery creates leverage, and leverage creates extraordinary outcomes. Every great leader, entrepreneur, and influencer got to where they are by doing more than average day after day, long after others gave up. Finally, commitment to consistent action builds resilience. Life tests everyone, but only those who persist develop the strength, skill, and character necessary to thrive. When you commit to action regardless of circumstances, you train yourself to navigate uncertainty with confidence. You become a person who doesn't wait for permission, luck, or ideal timing. You become a doer, a creator, and a force of progress. Consistency transforms not only your results, but your identity, turning ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement day by day, action by action. Life is full of challenges, and the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the presence or absence of obstacles. It's how they respond to them. Most people see challenges as problems, as reasons to stop, complain, or retreat. But here's the reality. Every challenge you face is an opportunity in disguise. Saying to yourself, I embrace challenges as opportunities, is not just positive thinking. It's a mindset that rewires your brain to see possibilities where others see barriers. When you shift your perspective, you shift your life. Here's a hook that most people overlook. Every obstacle carries a hidden lesson and a hidden advantage. The very thing that seems to be blocking your path is often the key to your growth, your resilience, and your future success. Imagine if every difficulty was a teacher rather than a punishment. What if setbacks weren't failures, but stepping stones toward mastery? People who succeed consistently are those who have learned to extract value from every experience, who have trained themselves to see challenges as invitations to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. Consider this. Adversity doesn't discriminate. It hits the novice and the expert, the wealthy and the struggling alike. What separates the winners is the mindset they bring to the situation. A challenge is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your transformation. When you tell yourself every day, I embrace challenges as opportunities. You start to anticipate lessons rather than fear obstacles. You begin to look for solutions rather than dwell on problems. You start asking, what can I learn from this? How can this push me to the next level? This simple shift changes how the world interacts with you because your energy moves from resistance to engagement, from fear to empowerment. Here's another hook. Challenges are the testing ground for your character and your capability. When you face difficulties, you discover what you are made of. You learn resilience, patience, creativity, and courage. The person who avoids challenges never grows beyond their comfort zone. The person who embraces them accelerates toward greatness. Every successful entrepreneur, leader, and influencer will tell you that their greatest achievements came immediately after, or sometimes directly because of the most difficult times in their lives. Here's the next level of this principle. Embracing challenges creates opportunities you never could have imagined. When you step into difficulty with a proactive mindset, doors begin to open that would have remained hidden if you had turned away. Every challenge conquered becomes a credential of credibility, a story of triumph, and a platform for influence. People are drawn to those who navigate difficulty with courage and creativity because challenges reveal strength and potential in a way that comfort never can. Finally, embracing challenges as opportunities builds confidence and boldness. When you consistently face what others avoid, you develop a sense of unstoppable momentum. You realize that no problem is too big, no situation too complex, and no obstacle too permanent. You become someone who doesn't wait for life to hand you success. You go out and claim it. Challenges become fuel, and obstacles become bridges to the life you've always wanted. Every day you repeat this mindset, you rewire your identity to be resilient, strategic, and proactive, turning what once seemed impossible into inevitable results. There is a force inside you that is waiting to be unleashed, and that force is your ability to be unstoppable. Saying to yourself, I am unstoppable, is not just an affirmation, it is a declaration of power, a mindset shift that tells your subconscious and the universe that nothing, no person, no circumstance, and no challenge can hold you back. Most people go through life reacting to problems and allowing fear to define their limits. But when you embrace the truth that you are unstoppable, you begin to operate from a level of confidence and determination that is untouchable. Here's a hook most people miss. Being unstoppable is not about being fearless. It's about taking action despite fear. Every successful person you admire has faced fear, doubt, and resistance. What made them unstoppable is that they refused to let those feelings dictate their actions. They kept moving forward when others stopped. They found solutions when others saw only problems. They understood that momentum, persistence, and resilience are more powerful than any temporary obstacle. When you tell yourself every day, I am unstoppable, you are training your mind to see possibilities, to find ways around barriers, and to refuse to accept limitations imposed by the world or by your own doubts. Let's dig deeper. Being unstoppable is also about embracing responsibility for your life, your choices, and your results. The moment you realize that no external factor controls your destiny, you step into unshakable power. You no longer wait for luck, timing, or permission. You decide, you act, and you persevere. Here's the next hook. The world tests everyone, but only the unstoppable rise above. Obstacles are inevitable, but quitting is optional. You become unstoppable when you commit to moving forward, adapting, and persisting, no matter how steep the challenge or how uncertain the path. Confidence grows when you declare your unstoppable nature, because you are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the driver, and nothing outside of your control can dictate your destination. Every challenge becomes an opportunity, every failure becomes feedback, and every setback becomes a lesson. The person who believes they are unstoppable understands that setbacks are not permanent, and they refuse to let temporary discomfort define their life story. You create your momentum, you sustain it, and you accelerate it, knowing that consistency, determination, and belief are your greatest assets. Here's another hook. Being unstoppable is contagious. When you operate from a place of unstoppable energy, people take notice. Opportunities come to you, partnerships align, and the universe responds to the vibration of relentless action and unwavering belief. You stop waiting for permission to succeed and start attracting the resources, people, and ideas that fuel your vision. You operate with authority, with clarity, and with purpose, because you know that nothing outside of you can hold you back unless you allow it. Finally, telling yourself daily, "I am unstoppable," changes your identity. Your thoughts shape your habits shape your character, and your character shapes your destiny. The unstoppable person is not defined by circumstance, but by mindset, determination, and action. Every step you take reinforces your identity. Every challenge you face strengthens your resilience. And every day you persist proves to yourself that nothing can stop you. You are the force, the creator, the driver of your destiny, and the energy you bring into the world is unmatched when you operate from this belief. Your results begin to reflect the unstoppable force within you, and once you understand that, nothing can stand in your way.